Like, literally, what are you doing? It's not a Kung Fu movie, Niall. And welcome back to another episode of Rebuilding Bolton. If you enjoyed the save, drop a like. That would be lovely. Helps out with that YouTube algorithm nonsense. Now, just a quick forewarning. I think I strained the crap out of my neck yesterday during stream, and I don't know how I exactly did it, but it just means that if I tilt my head a little bit too much, I get stabbing pains up the back of my neck, so that's terrific. It's not as bad as yesterday, but if I do just suddenly scream, that's because I've reacted a bit weirdly to hopefully us scoring a goal or something, and it's caused me immense pain. So hopefully that will go away soon, because that ain't ideal. Today, we are away at Tottenham, who are amazingly, and I hadn't even really noticed this, below us in the league by 4 points with us having a game in hand. What on earth is this damn season? When we beat them on the opening day of the season, I looked at that as going, yeah, that's a great result for us. And it was. But it doesn't look quite as good now, if I'm honest. The Liverpool and Chelsea wins are far more just far better than the Spurs one. They are not doing well this year. Carlo Ziga is such a chaotic shithouse. I love it. After he leaves Bolton, we need to follow his career. I think chaotic shithouse is probably the best way of describing him that I've ever heard up to this point. Ziga saves a penalty. Mum, get the camera. I know, and the fact that he actually did it again. What a year. Except now some bad news for Carlo Ziga, because I've gone and signed a goalkeeper on the final day of the transfer window. And it's Alex Macania. I don't know what has happened here at all. I have absolutely zero explanation as to how this has happened. I decided we were on to the 31st, so technically not the final day of the transfer window because it was the 2nd of Feb. And I was like, well, screw it. I'm going to pop another bid in because let's just see if anything's different. And he got a work permit. Like, no hassle, no appeals, no nothing. Just given a work permit. So I am genuinely at complete loss as to why he was not able to join us earlier in the same transfer window. Particularly as someone, the only things people could point out was wages, and as I said, he's on way more wages than Disastrous, so that's not an issue. And the only other option that someone came up with was that he hadn't played enough league games for Slavia, except he played way more league games for Slavia than Disastrous had when he joined us. So I'm at a complete loss as to why that was, and this is what I mean about the work permit system. It is completely enigmatic, and I have no clue. But nevertheless, Alex Macania, £14.5 million was the release clause, but to get a guy of this quality, I thought was a really strong chance for us. He's 4 years younger than Carlo Ziga, and is better in many ways than him, particularly in things like reflexes, which I'm a big fan of as well, and could come in quite handy for some of this stuff. So hopefully, Macania could be a long-term solution. So, we must press on. So, one slight downside, and I say slight downside, this is actually quite a big downside, is that Mansour Mohammed got a lower back stress fracture. I feel your pain, bruv, kind of. In the really large off-camera section, we had like a mid-season squad break where there was no training allowed, no nothing. So that's kind of interesting. So we're back from that now, which is why it appears to be like 3 weeks later, because it literally is. And yeah, he's somehow busted his back in. I don't know whether he was doing decorating at home. I haven't the foggiest idea, because it definitely happened during the part where there was no training. But nevertheless, he will be out for a little while. So there we go. Now, I don't know who's going to drop into the squad in his place. It'll probably be Critchlow Noble for the meantime, just because I trust him a little bit more than Disastrous. I love Disastrous, and I think he's got a bright future, but right now we need to rely on someone like RCN, I feel like. That, and my assistant was telling the press that we were playing RCN in his role anyway, so I really... Oh, now you want to put him in. Funny how, Mr. Atherton, you didn't say that to the journalists, did you? He's conspiring against me, friends. I'm certain of it. I'm actually going to do a quick pick anyway, and then just dump Disastrous out for RCN, because I think RCN deserves a bit more football this year. Can't be any worse, can he? So, obviously, Booty will come back into this role. Candela, Christensen, Low Everton and Kim. It's all good. Got to make sure that bench is nice and sorted. Okay, so there we go. So we've got Kroken, Disastrous, John, Temenushkov, Lawrence, O, and Loshtak on the bench. I kind of hate the fact that I told the players that we were in good form and Spurs were not, because they aren't, and we're above them in the league. And the players are acting as if there's some monolithic, like, god that we couldn't possibly take down. I kind of feel like there should be more dynamics started on that sort of stuff, how the players react to them, how they actually are, and not like based on the fact that they're Spurs. If they're bottom of the league, which they're not, they should still be treated like they're bottom of the league. Though it does kind of go both ways, because they acted the opposite when we played against Watford. They were acting like Watford were some mid-table nothings when they were second in the Premier League, and that might have allowed us to get a result there. So hopefully an inferiority complex doesn't creep into us here as we travel to Spurs. We're 4 points above them in the league. We could go 7 clear of them with a win, which would be a lot to ask, and we'd have a game in hand on them still. I'm excited for what we could potentially do in this game. Our form has been a little bit iffy as of late, but still pretty solid, really. And at the end of the day, I think we need 8 more points to secure survival, and we've got 14 games which to get it in. And I think this team is by far strong enough to do exactly that. Wait, a foul? What? Sorry, what? Did something happen that I didn't see? The ball is down here, and the referee's just awarded a penalty. And Son has now slotted Spurs in front after 4 minutes, and I am so confused right now. Here's the centre of the area. Oh, okay. It appears that Cristiano Noble's just randomly dragged back a Spurs player, and they've actually given a penalty for it. That might be the first time this whole year I've ever seen a penalty given in that way. Cristiano Noble definitely justifying his position in the team there then, with that absolute... what? I guess he's kind of figured that since people get away with that in literally every game, that he could probably get away with it. But not on this occasion, apparently. You want to be careful in the box here, apparently, because the referee's just going to give penalties for any kind of a contact. Low Everton picks it up. Right, chance for a breakaway. Kim's surging into space. Oh, it's not a good first pass, but he might still get through. Kim! Oh, he's not going to be able to do much from the hit. Oh, my lord. In more terrific news, Johann's now had to go off with a twisted knee, so Petr Lostak, hero of many games, in fact, this season, is now onto the pitch. Son surely won't... Wow, great first touch from Heung-min Son. Ball whipped through, and Orsolini, good save from Alex McCann. I mean, not a good first half from us, really. I mean, most of Spurs' opportunity was the penalty, but regardless, we've still not been good enough ourselves. Nice little idea, actually. He's found Kim. Oh, Kang! Regan Booty, go on, shoot Booty. It's a good effort on target. At the very least, we've managed to hit the target with Regan Booty there. That's something. Booty's ball in. And it's headed over the bar by Lostak. This penalty is all that's going to have separated the two sides. We've just struggled to take our chances over the last few matches, but I guess it's kind of inertia from a lot of other things. We weren't good enough. Still kind of, even if you exclude the penalty, but you know, hey, penalties are penalties. They still count. So a frustrating one to lose, but I don't think it's the end of the world. We're still doing okay. But there we go. We certainly weren't torn apart by them, that's for sure. Right, so we gave us off camera. Back in a minute, I think for Everton away, which will not be easy. Right then, guys, we're back, and... oh, how the times have changed is all I can really say. It feels like the team have gone from being a solid, comfortable outfit to being a team that wouldn't know what football was if you smacked them over their head with it. It's genuinely very, very interesting. So we started off by losing 2-0 at home to Norwich City, and you might look at that and go, wow, that was a bad result. Yeah, trust me, if it wasn't for McCann, this would have been so much worse. Bit fortunate the way that the tackle, slide tackle straight into Gaic's path. It's just how it goes, and that's been a theme through this entire off-camera period. Once again now, all of a sudden, we're getting these ones in behind us again, which is very interesting considering it was a deeper line. But it was 2-0 to Norwich City. Could have been a lot worse, though. Look at this. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know what's changed. Obviously, Mohamed not being in the team is definitely a downside, for sure. As we then travel to Manchester United. Watch this one. Man on the near post here, Candela, and nah, just going to stand there. Like, just ignore it entirely. Terrific. What's the point? Then, 22 minutes into the game, ball eventually ends up at the back post here with Goossens, and it's just guy sliding in, straight past him, goalkeeper can't get it. 2-0 Man United in the second half, which was our first goal in what felt like literally ever. Gilney with the ball through. Kim, good first touch. His goal. First goal for ages as well, 2-1. But then after that, the floodgates just opened, unfortunately. Very, very simple stuff in the end. This, again... a huge element of fortune is the fact that this just deflects off of Cristiano Noble, and Anthony somehow under-anticipate it, get in behind and make it 3-1 to Manchester United. Like, ball back here, eventually ends up at the back post. Rashford's able to head that one home and make it 4-1. We did then manage to cause some confusion in the penalty area, and eventually the ball breaks to the edge of the area, or rather to the penalty spot, where Christensen was able to slam one home, but very against the run of play. And, of course, then again, random mix-ups here, players all over the shop, and it was 5-2 Manchester United. It's like they don't even know each other anymore, and again, you can see just how bad we've been defensively. And then, away at St James's Park against Newcastle, watch Widmer here. Like, just... everything that could possibly break the way of the oppositions we're having in these matches is. Every shot just bounces back to them. It's just, I think there's an element of really bad fortune in there, of course, but it is very interesting. And again, Widmer picking it up here, slipping it around the side, easy finish for Bocco at the near post. And again, it's the type of chances we were conceding before when we played a high line have somehow migrated, even though we weren't before. It's very interesting, actually. The people are getting in behind us now, even though they weren't before. And again, Widmer out on this right-hand side. Once more, again, players out there. Nope, just coming straight through. And yeah, back of the net for Emeka. 3-0 to Newcastle. That was actually before half-time. We did get a goal back in the second half. Kim with some absolutely delightful football here, just driving through and able to slot home. When we get opportunities, which we're not getting a lot of late, we are at least able to take them from time to time, which is nice. And we did, of course, once again, cause some absolute pain in Newcastle's box here, as Vermeer was able to get on the end of it to make it 3-2, but really it just papered over the cracks of yet another trash performance from us, because we've literally gone from one defeat in 11 league games to losing 5 straight matches without looking even vaguely like winning. It's actually insane, the huge swings. And despite all of that, we managed to find ourselves still 8 points above the drop zone. I think it's one of these things where sometimes you just kind of got to ride out the storm. It genuinely feels like we're just going to have to ride this out until we get a lucky result and then it flips the morale back around again, because at the moment you feel like a passenger. The injuries have certainly not helped, but it is actually terrifying how bad they've been. But at the end of the day, it swings and roundabouts and all that jazz. Now, you might again be saying, oh, well, you should immediately change all the tactics again. That is not a good idea. We know that we were capable of going on an 11, well, losing one game in 11 Premier League matches. We were capable of doing that, which proves we were capable of doing that. So I'm not going to suddenly tear up the tactics book again. We've had a poor run. It happens. We were particularly poor against Newcastle and Norwich for my money, because they were both teams that were down there and below us in the league. And there's just no excuse for the home performance against Norwich City. It was awful. And at the end of the day, we signed a new goalkeeper. That's positive, right? So what do we even do today? I mean, honestly, no matter who I put in here, we're going to have a problem. And I'm going to bring Critchlow Noble back in here because neither of them, they've literally been equally appalling. Booty will come back in at left side, but one of the areas we definitely need to strengthen in the summer is the left wing back spot. I love Regan Booty, I do, and he's definitely shown his moments this year have been fantastic as well, but consistently over the full season, we've just not seen enough out of him. Low Everton has been appalling lately. Kang as well has really gone off the boil, and he'd actually be even worse if it wasn't for this 7.1 here, so there's definitely a lot of work to be done. I might even start Niall John for today, but I honestly do believe it's quite a good representation of life in the Premier League. You're going to have struggles sometimes, and that's okay. We've just not created anything for him, and Goodison Park looks different to how I remember. That is a strange representation of it in the game. Hello, people in those blocks of flats. Going to try and point out some of the things I've been noticing if we were actually to see them in this game. For all we know, we'll come into Goodison and win, and everything will suddenly look fine. Because I genuinely do believe that one more win is probably enough to see us survive in the Premier League this season. Right, finally, a clearance header that went to our player, but it hasn't led to anything. Richarlison. Oh my god. I mean, it's just whatever. I just have no words anymore. Do you ever get this where you just feel like you turn the game on and every single thing that can go wrong does? I mean, what is he doing? Like, literally, what are you doing? It's not a Kung Fu movie, Niall. Well, I mean, might as well make that 6 now. Oh, you've got to be shitting me! Yeah, no. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just got to be like, what? Remember, we're not on Get Stuck In. That's not an instruction we use anymore. Niall John and Sonny Low Everton, hilariously against Everton, have both two-footed someone in the first 20 minutes of the match. Utter shambles from these two. Well, I mean, if Everton don't win us about 5-0 here, then I really don't know what's going on. Good ball in, Booty, clearance, and actually does go to our player. Except he's got no support, unfortunately, on account of the two players that will be supporting him are currently having a bath together. They better be, at this point, because this is utterly shambolic from a disciplinary purpose. I think that was our first and second red card of the season. I'm not even joking. I don't think we've had any red cards this season up until that point. Well, if nothing else, it is extremely funny. So we've got that on our side, I suppose. And to be fair, and what I would say is this, it ain't the defenders' fault they decided to become absolute renegade idiots, is it? That's a good finish from Philippe Jagiello. First goal of the season for him. Everton 1, Bolton 0. It will be the first of many, I suspect. I am livid with them. I mean, actually livid. I'm making a sub. I'm bringing off Christensen, and I'm actually bringing on Temenushkov to play as a deep-lying forward with Kim, so we've got more of an option up front to aim for when we do finally get clearances, because we ain't going to be there hang on the ball and the other way. As Kim is through. Oh, surely not. Kim is in, and it's smashed at goal. We've actually had a chance here at Goodison Park through Kim. Candela, headed clear. And Gilney, our only midfield player, literally there is no other midfield players on the pitch right now, comes up with something there. Fair play to the lad. He's got his work cut out as well. It's Everton 1, Bolton 0. We're down to 9 men. And boom. That's a good finish from him. Rafael Santos Border, Everton 2, Bolton 0. This is going to be a long old day. I mean, there's no one that can actually put any pressure on him, unfortunately, with the three of them there. They get a bit disjointed. He's able to run in behind. He possibly could have put a tackle in there, but I'm amazed. I imagine he didn't want to get sent off, if I'm honest. Well, half-time and it's 2-0 to Everton. I'm just turning Candela and Booty on to complete wing-backs just to provide some kind of width. If we get out of this with less than a 5-0 defeat, I'll consider that a good old day. It is going to be 6 league defeats in a row for us. No complaints about this one for sure. But it is very interesting just how we can go from losing 1 game in 11 to 6 straight in the league. Not in this one particularly, because you could see, but wow. I think all that's missing from this game is us to concede like some silly penalty while we're at it. Richarlison, good save from McCania. And it'd be very easy to say it's because of the new goalkeeper. It really, really isn't. Like, when you actually see the sheer number of saves he's making, if anything, he's the reason that we're not losing by more at this point. He's made 11 saves in this game. Against Norwich, I think he made 10. He has been making some unbelievable performances to keep these scorelines down lately for us. Miranchuk, and it's a good tackle from Mayo. Miranchuk, Edwards, and it is 3-0 to Everton. Not really a huge surprise there. I'm amazed it has been as little as it is. Nothing McCann can do about that one. He's done his very bloody best today. We're just going to skip this now. I'm honestly not sure I've ever seen a train wreck happen so quickly, as far as, like, going from serenely sailing along the rails, everybody having a nice coffee from the buffet car, to careening into a mountain, because that seems to be exactly what's happened here. Another great piece of defending to prevent that goal. Well, Everton 3, Bolton Wanderers 0. Incredible, actually, that you'd argue that this was better performance-wise than the Man United game, and we had full quota of players. I mean, that was a write-off from around about 12 minutes in now, wasn't it? It's hard to really judge that. What I would say is, once again, Alex McCann still managed to make 12 saves in this game. The guy is pulling off miracles for us at the moment. Thank God he's here, if I'm honest. Although I still think he has been a little bit at fault for a couple of goals. Not these ones, though. I have no words. So, that leaves us still, hilariously, 7 points above the drop zone with 9 games to go. I still feel like one more win and we will be safe. Where that win's going to come from, though, I don't really know, if I'm honest. So, there it is. 6 consecutive league victories. League defeats. Exactly what we expected. Bearing in mind, our next 2 games are Arsenal and Manchester City, so you can expect that to become 8. It's not going to be an easy finish to the season, but I do believe still that somewhere in there's going to be one more win that will probably be enough, particularly as we do finish off at home against Burnley and at home against West Ham. Thank God. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, hey, if nothing else, I'm sure it's been entertaining. Drop a like on the video, that'd be spectacular. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, that'd be awesome as well. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and at the weekend as well. Also, since it is Thursday, Streamer Showdown, the draft is happening right now over on Twitch, so head over, watch that, it'll be awesome, it's going to be fun. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching, hold your gun, capybara, bye-bye.